Hello and welcome to the reading of Fandom Crisis Part 5, Chapter 5 by Mr. Voltitude, or Asher. I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but that's his name. Um, I've been sick lately, so I haven't been posting. Not that anybody watches me or anything, but, okay. So I'm gonna read Fandom Crisis Part 5. Okay. I stared dull-eyed at the blank computer screen in front of me. Am I recording? Am I recording? Yes, I am. Right. Brilliant. I stared dull-eyed at the blank computer screen in front of me, locked in an epic duel with the foul beast known as writer's block. I haven't updated in over 2 months, I scolded myself mentally. There are people out there who actually like the crap I write. I do not keep them waiting. Do not keep them waiting, sorry. I exhaled in frustration and decided it was break time. I minimized the document and went online to Equestria Daily. After checking the updates, reading a comic, and listening to my really cool new track of Wooden Toaster, I checked the page for my fanfiction. Fandom Crisis, my crossover fanfiction of other My Little Pony fanfictions. Boy, had the story ballooned out of control. I had just meant it as a quick little exercise to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of Friendship is Magic, but I missed that deadline by over a month and a half, and unfortunately a crossover of all my favorite pony characters are too tempting for me to use any self-control. The story grew and grew until after only 4 chapters there were too many characters and plot threads for me to remember. If I was ever going to get to make sense again, I would have to add a few more characters and plot threads. It was a vicious cycle. I sighed and checked the feedback. 158 comments. That's quite a bit more than I had originally expected. I had read them all before, but I didn't have anything else to do that day. I scrolled down to the list. One of the comments caught my eye. A user named Kevin had asked, "Will there be any references to My Little Dashie?" I noted he misused there for there, but hey, when has grammar ever mattered on the internet? It certainly hadn't mattered in my story. Got that right. You got that right, Asher. The question got stuck in my head. I had heard about My Little Dashie over and over and over and over again, but I hadn't ever actually read it. Those who had said it's pretty sad, and I don't watch ponies for sad. On the other hand, maybe I could use it for a future crossover on Fandom Crisis. I found the story on the site and clicked the link. Over an hour later, the story was pretty good. The tragic tale of a man who discovers a filly rainbow dash in a cardboard box and raises her as his daughter. I got a little teary-eyed towards the end, I'll admit. I thought it was a tad overhyped, though. What really put me off was the beginning. The audience surrogate character was a little too close to my actual life for comfort. If the author had made him a Doctor Who obsessive, I would have had to check my house for cameras. Mind you, I live in a sunny little rural town, and the main character lived in a gray, hopeless, rundown, trash-filled, half-abandoned city, so it's safe to say the story probably took place in New Mexico. Also, my parents are still alive. Still, the main character had a life like mine, and he spent all of the first act whining about how crushing and painful it was. Hey, I don't think my life is awesome, and I'm very happy to be living it. The rest of the story after that was pretty good, but I didn't see how I could use it for any of it for my fanfic. I returned to my document. The white void stared back, mocking me. Just then, inspiration struck. I knew what would make a perfect fifth chapter. I put my hand to the keyboard and prepared to type. Then I heard a whimpering behind me. Shotgun, my dog. He was pawing at his kennel door. He looked at me with big brown pleading eyes, and it was time for a walk. I put on my shoes, got his leash, let the lovably dumb creature out, and away we went. It was a wet February day. Shotgun happily bounced through a field. Shut up, Mark. I always let him run free until we get close to a house where a dog lives. Then it's back on the leash. His ears perk up and he disappeared into a bush, no doubt after some poor small mammal. or animal, I mean, just whatever. My thoughts returned to my little Dashie. Although I wasn't as enamored with it as much as the internet said I should be, its basic premise spoke to one of my silliest yet deepest desires. I want to meet a real My Little Pony. Even if it was just to say hello and pet its mane, I suppose there would be only two real life alternatives. You could either buy the toys or pet a real pony. But the official toys were rather ugly, and the better fan-made toys were roughly the price of a small car. And the real life ponies are fat, miserable, bitey animals that poop on everything. My train of thought was derailed when Shotgun started barking at something on the side of the road. It was a cardboard box. Oh, come on. Just like the one from the story. Oh, this was eerie, I jokingly thought. That maybe there would really be a talking filly in the box. Whatever was in there got Shotgun's attention. At least I was walking over to check it out when a sudden ear-splitting noise caused my poor dog to roll on the ground in pain. I ran to make sure he was okay. He whimpered a little, but he seemed okay. This noise had stopped almost as soon as it had started. I looked inside the box, and the sight I saw nearly caused me to faint. There was an animal sitting there, unlike anything I had ever seen before. Well, unlike anything I had seen in real life, anyway. I had seen plenty of them in Friendship is Magic. It was a little unicorn with giant purple eyes. She had a dark pink coat and a violet mane. She had some sort of silver bracelets on her foreleg. The little lights flickered across its surface. She was smaller than she appeared in the show, but I instantly recognized her as Sparkler. I was absolutely dumbfounded. My brain refused to process the sight in front of me. It couldn't be real. It just couldn't. She was a TV character, no less than that. A background pony, a fan character. Hello there, human. Could you please leash your dog? The filly asked. My brain called it quits and I blacked out. What? I felt something warm and wet on my cheek. I opened my eyes to find Shotgun licking me. I shooed him away and sat up. I must had been out for a few hours. It was almost dark. Ah, good, you're awake. Tell me, have you seen any glowing lights in the sky or unusual liquids bubbling out of the ground recently? The pony's voice behind me. I decided I would try my... I'm just gonna make a comment. Best to keep my wits about me. I could think of 4 explanations for what was happening. Number 1, I was dreaming. I found this to be the most likely. Number 2, I had gone crazy. Also very likely. Number 3, this was all some elaborate joke. I had no idea how this was possible. But I liked it better than number 4. Number 4, this was really happening. Sparkler was real and talking to me. Are you just going to stand there and I'm sorry. Are you just going to stand there slack-jawed all day? It's getting cold out here. Do you have somewhere we can go? The unicorn asked. I mumbled a bit before I found my voice. Yeah, just down the road. Well, all right then. Onwards and upwards. I was in a daze. As the 3 of us arrived at my door, Shotgun jumped up and down to be let in. Say, why hasn't my dog been barking at you anymore? I asked. Your Kanan and I had a little psychic conversation. We managed to come to an understanding, Sparkler replied. I have never seen Sparkler in... Okay. I opened the door and let the quadrupeds into my house. Okay, because I have 4. Okay. Sparkler hopped up, and stretched herself out on my couch while I put Shotgun in his kennel. The pony popped her neck. Oh, that felt good. Believe me, sleeping in a box is not all it's cracked up to be. And I don't know anyone who cracks it up in the first place. Say, could you be a dear and fetch me some tea? Oh, listen to me. Just barging into your home and making demands. I'm so sorry. Perhaps I should introduce myself. I'm Sparkler, I interrupted. A pony from Ponyville, daughter of Derpy Hooves and sister of Dinky. The pony who is lying on my couch asking for tea. The pony looked around her behind her. Okay, spooky. Have we met before? Later, that happens to me, too. No, I know that because you're not real. I'm not. She rubbed her cheeks and then her tummy. I'm pretty sure that I am. No, I mean, you're a fictional character from a TV show or cartoon. You can't be real, I sputtered. A television program. Interesting. Could I see an episode, perhaps? I turned on my computer and went to YouTube. I found a clip of Rainbow Dash trying to help Sparkler open a jar of peanut butter for a green unicorn filly. The unicorn watched intently. She giggled when it had ended. I remember that mare. Little Minty. And I must have laughed for 10 minutes straight after that. Sparkler smirked. All right, up, up, up. I need a chair. I need the chair. Her horn began to glow slightly. A magical aura surrounded my keyboard, and the words My Little Pony popped up into the search bar. Sparkler pressed a button on her bracelet and pointed her hoof at the screen. Suddenly, a jumbled mess of colors flashed across the screen, and an ear-splitting noise blasted from the speakers. Finally, it stopped after about 10 seconds or so, far too long. What was that? I asked, snapping my fingers near my ears to make sure I could still hear. I got it. Got what? Everything on the internet related to My Little Pony. Now, if you excuse me for a moment, to my horror, she began violently bashing her head against the desk. Sorry, I saw some things I needed to forget. Sure, you're stupid. Here you go, I said, handing Sparkler a mug of tea. Sorry if it's not to your liking. I've never really been into tea. I'm sure it'll be fine. She took a sip and grimaced. Anyway, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Now, there's an understatement for you. I plopped down on the couch and tried to gather my thoughts. Okay, how can you even be real? The filly giggled. Oh, how I long for the simple days, when words like real and fictional had some distinction. Well, I've always wanted a life real, just not a part of your shut up. Reality? Are you aware of the idea of parallel universes? Yes, I think I see where you're going with that explanation. But how can there be a TV show about you? Sparkler put her hoof on her chin. Oh, I wish my dad was here to explain all this. Your dad? You mean the doctor? Yes, indeed. The unicorn took a sip of tea and cleared her throat. All right, now normally there are barriers between universes. They keep matter and energy from escaping one and potentially destroying another. However, intangible things can sometimes slip through. Thoughts, ideas, fears, dreams. It makes it a real pain when you come across an infestation of mind vapors. Anyways, these ideas from other universes can seep into the thought process of receptive people, usually artists or writers. So, how much of fiction is real then? From what I gather, almost all of it. That would be awful if that was. I was blown away. I had to get up and shut up. Get up and pace the room. Then slowly, a smile of nerdy delight spread across my lips. So it's all real. Friendship is magic and Doctor Who. Images of all my beloved stories and characters danced in my mind. Oh, hey. I suppose this could solve any religious debates. If you want your gods to be real, just go to a universe where they are. If you don't want any god, just go to a universe where he never existed. Oh, I can't take it. I collapse on the love seat. The universe is exploding in front of me, my whole perception of reality ripped away. Then my heart descended into my stomach, and my delight turned to an abject terror. Oh, dear God, cupcakes would be real. Sweet apple massacre would be real. The realization was like being punched in the soul. I started to cry, and I felt like I was about to vomit, Sparkler ran to me and gave me a quiet surprise by hugging me. Easy now. Listen, my team and I have been popping about the multiverse for a while now. Been doing some cleaning up. We can't make it all go away, but we can make some dreams fail to come true. Now, any other questions? I sniffled and looked up at her. Um, if matter can't get through the barriers, how did you get here? I did say normally the barriers block matter, but something was broken them down. My friends and I modified some old vortex manipulators, and we've been jumping across the multiverse ever since. If we can't find the cause of the universe leaks and fix it, all of reality will be destroyed. The filly yawned, and I have to admit it was possibly the most adorable thing I have ever seen. I've had a very long day in my TARDIS. It's been over 100 miles away. I know we've just met, but can I stay here tonight? Your couch is quite lovely, and I'd hate to sleep in that box again. I'll answer any other questions you have in the morning. I put our mugs away and handed Sparkler a spare pillow and a blanket. Well then, good night, Sparkler. Holler if you need anything else, I say, still sniffly from crying. The unicorn nodded her thanks, then drifted off to sleep. She started to snore in soft little squeaks. Well, if my little Dashie actually might have happened, then I guess history repeats itself. And like the protagonist in that story, the sight of the sleeping filly made my heart explode twice. Despite having the secrets of the Omniverse revealed to me in less than an hour, and given the knowledge that everything is facing imminent doom, I got to sleep pretty fast. However, when I hit my first REM cycle, my dreams became incredibly bizarre. I found myself in darkness, then I heard a small soft voice call out in the distance, but I couldn't make out what it said. I turned to see the tiny white light in front of me. I walked towards it. As it grew, I looked down. I was walking through snow, following little hoofprints, but I wasn't leaving any footprints. Hello, is anybody there? Twilight, the voice called. I could start to make out the form of a filly ahead. Then I saw her horn, then a purple mane, and finally her wings. It was Nyx, illuminating the darkness with her magic. Hello, I'm greeted. She just kept walking. Hello, I tried it again louder. The alicorn still ignored me. Can you hear me? I asked, circling in front of her. Nyx let out a yelp. Whoa, what are you? Are you a ghost? A ghost? No, I looked down at my hands. They glowed purple, and I could see straight through them. The pony's horn's glow changed from white to red. Look, I don't know what you are, but if you are here to hurt me, you'll regret it. I quickly backed away. The last thing I wanted to do was get disintegrated by a baby horse. Although disintegrated by a baby horse would simultaneously be the best and worst thing to have written on your tombstone. There was a flash of purple light, and for a moment I was afraid Nyx had blasted me. Next thing I knew, I was standing in some sort of cathedral. Sinister rays of green light fell from massive jade windows, and I looked around to see Twilight Sparkle standing in the middle of the room. Before stood some shadowy, writhing mass. Before I could make out what it was, there was another flash. Now I was standing in front of a mop. I appeared to be in a broom closet. I turned around, only to be met by a pair of startled yellow eyes that looked in the opposite directions. There was another flash. I jumped when I found myself standing over an inferno. I was on the walkway overlooking a room made of clouds that was exploding. On the other side of the room, what looked like two rainbow dashes were grappling with each other above some kind of machine with an opening at the top. One of the rainbows is bigger, with a more defined jaw. I figured it must have been Rainbow Blitz. The other was dressed in a black coat and with her tail dyed to match. Blitz whirled around and bucked the other pony right in the nose. She stumbled back and nearly fell into the machine. Sorry. Blitz managed to catch her just in time. There was another flash, brighter than the ones before, and I felt something poking my face. Okay, hold on. I need to get a drink. Where was I? Hey, human, hurry, wake up. We have about 4 minutes or so. Wake up, human. Hey, Sparkler said, pressing her hoof against my nose. Ah, good, you're awake. Get up and get dressed. There's a massive psychic burst in this room. We have about 4 minutes before they get here. Listen, I realized something while you were asleep. Ugh, a psychic. What now? I asked, still not fully awake. Who's coming? What did you realize? I saw it, human. When I scanned your computer, I saw it, but it just didn't click in my head until now. A story that perfectly described my dad's journey. Well, not perfectly, but a sentence structure was wonky, and the pacing and the editing were all over the place, and the author really should work on the show. Don't tell. It was at this point that I realized Sparkler hadn't asked for my name and was unlikely to ask for it at any time in the near future. I decided to let the issue slide. A story? What's it called? I asked as I put on my shoes. Fandom Crisis, I believe. I'm the one writing that story. And I'm the one reading it. You're writing that. I gotta put that in there. I am getting too involved in this. I think he's watching me do that. Alright. You're writing that story? Good. Everything makes sense then. And I guess your sentence structure wasn't that Celestia awful? Oh god, it is. It is. You're too kind, I said sarcastically. Anyhow, the reason I came to this particular universe was because I've been looking for a TARDIS black box. My family fell into another universe and got the TARDIS blown up. They're in a lot of trouble, and they'll be going nowhere fast unless I can piece the TARDIS back together and get back to them. Okay, what's that have to do with my story? Well, the TARDIS black box transmits a data physically. So, if your story is an accurate account of the flight. I stared at her for a few seconds. I don't understand it all. The cast of Alice in Wonderland makes more sense than... Asher! Wrong. Wrong. Sparkler grunted and grabbed my head. It's here, a chunk of a TARDIS. It's somewhere in this house, and it's beaming the story into your head, she shouted. Suddenly, the realization hit my brain. She had explained it all earlier, but I never considered that my story could be real. So wait, Nix and the doctor are really, excuse me, really are out there? There's really a tricksy transformer? Wait, what was that about beaming? The pony searched around the room like a bloodhound. Oh, where are you? The black box just let out a massive burst of psychic energy. I'm surprised it didn't fry your brain. I thought they had 4 minutes before something came, but okay. Then my bed started glowing blue. My day had been so weird and confusing, I didn't even question it. Ha, found you, Sparkler exclaimed. She used her magic to rip open my mattress. Slowly, she levitated a strange, crystalline, vaguely leaf-shaped objects out from the springs. I had to cover my eyes from its brightness. What is it? I asked. It is a TARDIS flight computer. This should help me track down all the other TARDIS bits that the explosion sent out across the universes. I was startled when a barking from down the hall, when a barking from down the hall, something was driving Shotgun crazy. Sparkler nervously glanced at my alarm clock. 4 minutes. Yeah, they're here. I'm so sorry, but you're going to have to get to be ready to drop and run. Get outside and sprint as fast and as far as you can. I'll hold them off. Here, goodbye. Suddenly, a hail of bullets tore apart my room. We hit the ground just in time. I felt something hairy in my mouth. Sparkler had put her hoof over my face, and then I realized I had been screaming. There was a whir of jet engines. My bedroom window melted away in a blast of superheated air. Faster than I could see. Something flew into. This is a really good fanfiction. Faster than I could see. Something flew into the room and landed just inches away from my head. I looked up to see a mare with rainbow-colored hair leering at me. A metal plate covering half of her face glistened in the moonlight. I gulped. It was the evil cyborg Rainbow Dash from my story. Oh, look, a human. Dash taunted. These little monkeys are a little too slow and fragile for my tasties. She tapped on my head with her hoof. I think I'll let the equans deal with you. Rainbow Dash's eyes went wide as purple energy surrounded her. Then she was thrown violently through the wall. She landed in a twisted heap of splinters. Sparkler tapped me on the shoulder, her horn cooling down from her attack. Hey, remember what I told you to do, that running thing? Yeah, now's the time to do that. I staggered back to my feet. Yeah, no way I'm staying here. What's with the equan? Equan. I never put those in my story. An emerald light poured through the window. I spun around to see what I at first thought was green fire. As my eyelids adjusted, I discovered that the fire was contained inside a suit of horse-shaped armor. The flickering pony reared up on its hind legs and roared. Now I would like to take a moment to point out that soiling yourself in the face of danger is a completely natural biological defense mechanism, and is by no way I mean a sign of cowardice or lack of masculinity. I had a very rough and confusing day, and this psychotic cyborg pony had exploded my room, and a flaming horse monster was about to attack me. I dare you to do better. That is an equan. I'll lead them away. Now, you, run, go, Sparkler ordered. I ran faster than I ever thought possible. I was about to sprint out the door when I noticed poor Shotgun whimpering his cage. I quickly freed him and dashed outside. The dog disappeared into the bushes while I ran down the road. Behind me, a hellish fireworks display was going on in my house. Oh, please don't tell me he looked at it. You know, bad guys don't ever look at explosions. You just don't. Lights flashed and bangs and booms sounded out. An epic battle was taking place in my home. One I was going to avoid at all costs. I ran until first signs of sunrise had appeared on the horizon. I slowly trudged home. My pants reeked, and I was barely certain I had damaged the bursa sacs in my knees. I couldn't help but once again draw the comparison between my life and my little Dashie. The hero of that story had met a pony in real life and became a loving father and grew as a person. I had met a pony in real life, fainted, cried, screamed, pooed my pants, ran away, and torn up my knees. I wish I could find another reality. The sun had fully come up, and by the time I got back to my house, everything was still. Shotgun was waiting at the door to be let in. I left my pants in the yard and went inside. I could clean them after some sleep. There was a note taped at the fridge. It read, Dear Human, you'll be happy to know that I successfully escaped from Rainbow Dash and her equine quad with the TARDIS flight recorder. With the black box in Hoof, I can get the TARDIS back to my father, and we can get on with saving reality. And also, I had some of my team cross over into your universe and fix any damages that might befallen your property. As you can hopefully see, they work very fast. That's the P. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. P for you. Always reliable. I doubt that we'll ever see each other again. Sincerely, Sparkler. I sighed. So reality was saved. I need some ibuprofen. It's getting funner now to read. Um, yeah, Asher, you make a lot of, mistakes. I don't know whether it's just me or, do I have anything else to say? Orange slices are really bad for you. Never eat them. Okay, bye. Thanks for listening. And, yeah, subscribe if you want to. I don't care if you do or not, honestly. Okay, bye.